I don't cry when it rains no more, or I get dirt on my shoes. I don't mind climbing 8 more floors, 'cause these stairs are all heading to you. I don't wait for tomorrow's sunshine when I feel it today. But when it's cold in the dead of winter, remember that snow melts away. One more cold drink, one more roll, one more dance before the doors get closed. Please remember, enjoy the show. Let's get happy before we get old. We don't need plans or a fancy agenda. Well, let's just see where it goes. We got no care for the way people stare at the dust and the dirt on our clothes. Hey, my friend, we'll never say
Hey, everybody, come on into the Cajun Cooking Experience. Man, it's good to see y'all tonight. This is my special request of seafood jambalaya. It is one of my favorite jambalayas. So I really, really enjoy this jambalaya. Probably don't cook it enough, but it's a very, very healthy jambalaya, and it brings in all our seafoods that we like. I mean, if you don't, you can even have this jambalaya during Lent, except for the andouille I'm going to throw in. You can have this. But yeah, Tim, what's up, my brother? So this is a Lenten jambalaya. Call it what you want, but I call it a damn good jambalaya. Now, I'm going to kick into my camera and show y'all what we're going to cook with tonight. And I'm going to try to kick it with my camera. So what I've done, I ate some boiled crabs today. It came from my favorite sister. So what I did, I used a little bit. I took all the scrap that I had left in the crabs. Now maybe some crab stock, or maybe some stock with the crabs and all my seasonings I cut up. I'm going to put some, okay, let me see if I can show this, some dry shrimp in it. So the dry shrimp is something that very unique to this area. And we'll talk a little bit more about dry shrimp later. Right? Yeah, Darren. So we're going to have some crawfish in it, Louisiana, of course. We're going to have some catfish in it. Something I'm going to do to kind of give it that crab meat taste without having to make a loan to get crab meat. And plus, it's just hard to get. But I like to take a little catfish and just let it break in there. So we'll throw that in a little early. We're going to have some shrimp. We're going to have some shrimp in there, shrimp caught in the waters of the United States. That's the best we can do right now. And then garlic, mushrooms. We have our bell peppers, the different color bell peppers to get that rainbow flavor. And then we're going to have also the celery and the onions. And then we're cooking with jasmine rice tonight. Well, yeah, Steven. We're going to cook with a little jasmine rice tonight. So that's going to make it something a little different. I love jasmine rice. Got turned on it by accident. What's up, my brother George? I got turned on by accident just because I had to use it. That was the only Louisiana rice I could find at the time. Had never cooked with it before. Come to find out, it was the best damn rice I ever used. And look, there's a lot of good rice out there, and people always have a debate: brown rice, white rice. Really, unless you're talking about the fiber, the nutritional difference, the difference is really not a whole lot. And one thing about it, if you're gluten-free, this whole jambalaya right here is going to be gluten-free. Hey, Lucy, what's up, baby? So now, what's up, Hollywood? Okay, let's get a little fire under this pot. I got one of my little baby pots we're cooking in today. Just to know that this is, we're only cooking a 4-pound jambalaya. 4-pound jambalaya, 8 cups, a 4-cup jambalaya, 8 cups of water, 2-to-1 ratio. 4 pounds. I'm so used to cooking in pounds, I don't even know cups anymore. But I'm just using this. This is a good family size jambalaya. It'll probably feed, unless you're feeding really hungry people, you're cooking you're cooking with other foods. So jambalaya is just part of it. You're going to have other side dishes on the side. You can get 15 servings out of here. And I'm talking about good, one big scoop of jambalaya. You'll get 15 servings. Rain coming your way. Bring it on, Hollywood. Sherman, what's happening? So let's go ahead and bring our onions in. And I like to get them onions going because the onions going to help me build my flavor. Now, what's happening, man? Okay, now we're going to get them onions cooking. I like a lot of, so everybody knows I love a lot of vegetables in here. And we're going to cook this down so that we give this jambalaya a good flavor. Hey, Terry, Mark, what's happening, brother? Man, it's all good over here. How you doing? And this is one of those little baby pots I have. I use this size pot when we get people to do Cajun cooking experience because we like to cook in the small dishes. We used to cook in bigger pots, and what it was is, how can I cook smaller for my family? So I started using a small pot like this, and that way they can find these. The bigger pots, they're not going to find them because if other parts of the United States will spoil. We're not going to. Then a lot of people can't find those pots. Yeah, we got a place right here in Vashon, our Napa store. They sell all the cast iron pots that you want, and there's all places in Reserve, Louisiana, places in La Place, places in St. Charles Parish, in Boutique, and Destrehan, and all. Usually we have places all over Ascension Parish, a lot of places to buy these pots. Because I bought mine local. Got to take care of my people. So jambalaya. Jambalaya is one of our favorite dishes we cook. We don't see a lot of seafood jambalaya, but it really is a good dish. And I don't know why we don't see it, because we do other things with jambalaya, with seafood. We're going to make probably, a lot of times people are going to make gumbo with seafood or make a stew with seafood. But you're not going to see a whole lot of jambalaya. Seafood is a little bit on the expensive side, so we tend to make stuff that are spread out and stuff that really is good with the seafood. I love a good seafood gumbo, which we're going to be making pretty soon. Hey, Mike, good to see you, brother. Well, man, we're going to get this going. And you see these dry shrimp right here? These dry shrimp are going to come in real soon. And this is what they look like if you've never seen them. In fact, let me get the sky view in the pot, and I'll be able to show you. So the dry shrimp, if you can see them, they're just little bitty shrimp that were dried. This was a real huge part of our economy at one time. This dry shrimp, they used to dry these things, and down in the Grand Isle area, there were a lot of people came from China years ago, and they would get here and then also go dry the shrimp, and then they would do is put them in sacks and they would dance. They called it the Chinese shrimp dance, or they would dance on the tin that they would dry them on. And this way, they would break all the hulls off, and they would take them and sack them up and ship them back to China. Boudin balls would make a great side. Oh, absolutely, Shirley. There's so many. One thing about a jambalaya, you can have it, and there's so many sides you can put with it. When we cook our regular jambalaya, of course, in St. James Parish, it's jambalaya white beans. It's just one word. Once you get away from this area, a lot of people just go jambalaya and other dishes. I like jambalaya red beans, white beans, field peas, anything. Oh, Tim said plenty flies on them shrimp when drying. Well, Tim, that's the flavor. So you think about, we out there, we get all paranoid when we see a fly. But you think back to the day that they would, and our ancestors, they were out there in nature. So, you ate, you God knows what you ate. And it's just the way it was. Yep, plenty flies is right. Let's see. Oh, my cursor's getting in the way. Do you make your stock from the heads and shells? But that what I did, I used actually when I ate my ball crabs, whatever was left over, I made it with like the crab peelings and the claws and the feelers and all. I put all that in the water and let it boil. The crab shell, the back of the crab, all that was in here to make this stock. Shrimp peelings, if you have them, make a fantastic stock. And the head, don't forget to put the heads in there. All that makes a good stock. All this helps you get that really good seafood flavor in here. And if you don't have time to make stock, you could, this right here, these dry shrimp would do a good job. Can't get them all over the United States. Very, very unique to our area. Or you can use what we call shrimp powder or shrimp dust. And that would be just a pulverized husk that come off of these things. Okay, so tonight I got a little hog lard going in here to start off this jambalaya. If you want to do with seafood, if you want to start it off with butter, that would make a fantastic jambalaya. So either way you want to go, or if you want to use avocado oil, all those would make a really great jambalaya. So all you use is the oil that you like the best. One of the oils I stay away from is seed oil. I've heard a lot of bad stuff about it. You read up on it, so I stay away from those. I like really natural cold press oil. Okay, we're gonna keep this rolling. Jambalaya white beans with fried soft shell crabs. Oh Lord, Stephen. So Stephen's talking about jambalaya white beans and fried soft shell crabs. Hell, I eat fried soft shell crabs with anything. So they go really great with white beans and jambalaya. Another thing that you can do with soft shell crabs, make a good po' boy. They make awesome po' boys. When you got somebody that knows how to process those soft shell crabs, where they know how to clean them, batter them, and cook them, or you can bake them, man, they make a good po' boy. But yes, they do make a fantastic side dish. And one time, so I used to get them, and what they do when the crabs are starting to bust, if you don't get them, sometimes they won't get all the way out the shell. So you have to pull them out. They would call them pullouts. Well, they would sell those cheaper because they were graded like a number 2 or number 3. I didn't care. It tasted like a number 1 to me. And the price was about half of what you normally pay. Hell, give me pullouts all day long. All right. So the rice is said, or jambalaya, rice is said to originate in Africa and Europe. And it came to Louisiana during the colonial period. Now, you start talking about jambalaya. Well, you got West Africa introduced the use of tomatoes, which were incorporated into like a Creole jambalaya. That was called jollof rice. That came from West Africa. This year at the Essence Fest, they had jollof rice. They were serving it. They may have even had a cook-off. I don't remember. I just heard that. One of the few times I've heard it being cooked in Louisiana. Also, paella was another red jambalaya. It's a Creole jambalaya. And one thought is how you get the name jambalaya? Jambon, French for ham, and aya or ya, rice, which is in West Africa. So that's the thoughts behind it. They don't really know, but it sounds good to me. He would say, you don't care neither. Damn right. A soft shell crab is a soft shell crab. Okay, now here's the secret to this. You got to keep working it. You know, sometimes you take a sip of beer, and you take a little sip of beer. Don't put too much beer in here, unless you got another one. You know I like my dog beer. So when you cook this jambalaya, especially this one today, we got the Caribbean influence. You got the peppers, the tropical seasonings all going in here. You got the Native American shellfish and wild game. We're bringing shrimp. We're bringing crawfish in. We're bringing catfish in. So Native Americans would have been living on all these things. And then the Cajun verse is also the brown from Stewart. And also, when Cajuns made a jambalaya, it could be anything in here. And this is why they always say, hey, watch. I remember when I was young, watch what you eat from them Cajuns, because they eat everything. And you're right. It was called survival. And we did eat everything. We could make a jambalaya with anything that we could catch, kill, or sometimes steal, or run over, roadkill. Randy, bro, ready for the fresh bread shovel. Oh, hell yeah, brother. You know it's around the corner. Dino. Oh, Dino, we got it going on, my brother. All right, you see this, take a peek in that pot. Let's go down with the sky camera. Sometimes I get it to work. And you see the onions are starting to get brown. This is going to help give me some color. Now, it's going to be hard to get color that I want from seafood jambalaya, but we're going to work on getting it. So this is what I'm going to bring in right now. I'm going to bring in some ANDOUILLE. It's just me. I like it for the little smoke flavor. It's very optional. You don't have to put it in there. A lot of people don't like the smoked meats with the seafood. If you go in the African American world, this is common. If you come to everybody else's world, and they don't like to mix it. Man, I like to mix everything. Hey, Hildon, how you doing? Baby, you ain't never late. It's been a little while since I seen you. Okay. I just want this. So one thing about jambalaya, you want to take your time cooking this. Take your time. You don't want to rush this, okay? You really, because that is going to be your flavor. Is taking these and we're going to layer flavors in here, but we're going to keep working these onions. We're going to work all this seasoning in so that we actually come up with a really good gravy, and that is going to be key to jambalaya. You taste a good jambalaya, then you can cheat. You can go ahead and put a lot of canned goods in here and get different flavors that you want. But to me, you're making a soup. But when you're adding in, you don't know what you're adding in because you're adding in canned goods and there's a lot of additives. I like to keep it clean. Okay? And we're talking about the different things that are going in here. Like I said, from the Cajuns, it's things that you could have wild game, you can have seafood, you can have anything they caught, killed, stole, ran over, whatever. And the Spanish and African was the red. In Spain, it was called the paella, but they couldn't get the saffron when they came over because it was too expensive to ship over. So they started using tomatoes. I remember they said they were in New Orleans, they were in the freshwater, so they can get the tomatoes all the time. And what you do, gotta watch. I don't want to use this water because that is going to be my water that's measured out. One thing about it, you want to keep this measurement on the side. You don't want to be using it by accident. And a lot of people are scared to put the rice and water in and just let it set. It's not hard. If you want to cook it with parboiled rice, Uncle Ben's, I call it cooking jambalaya on training wheel. Go ahead, but don't put it in a contest because I'm going to ding you. Because I can tell when you use parboiled rice. It's too perfect. And it stops you from using good rice like a jasmine rice or all the other good rice that we have on the market. It stops you from using that. And the parboiled rice is not really giving you the flavor that you're going to get with these. This jasmine rice has a nice little nutty flavor, which adds to the profile of that jambalaya. Okay, man, we're really starting to get some brown onions here. I'm going to bring my celery in. And I'm bringing these things in that take a little time to cook, okay? And my mushrooms. Now, I'm going to tell you, if I was over here cooking, and I was cooking the jambalaya, I wouldn't be adding this stuff in right now. I would cook those onions down more to give me that good brown flavor. But I'm adding it in now so we can move along. And what's the right way? Either way. The way that makes your jambalaya taste the way you want it to taste it. So rice, what is our history on rice? Man, look, we are rice eaters out here. Everybody loves rice. If you live in South Louisiana, from Texas to Mississippi, you are a rice eater, no doubt about it. So there's evidence that rice was here in China as far back as 2800 BC. So rice has been around for a long time. It's been a staple for a long time. And so in those Asian areas, they really eat a lot of rice. And that led when we had a lot of Vietnamese coming in the 70s, they were having their rice sent in from Asia because they didn't like our rice. And this is why we had to create this jasmine rice in Louisiana. Took 20 years to get this down. But the rice farmers, Southwest Louisiana, with LSU, after making different varieties, finally got it where they could compete with the Asian markets. Okay? And then eventually it spread through Europe, and eventually it got to the Americas. And eventually they made it over here. Okay, got this cooked now real good. We'll take a look in that pot real quick. Man, look, see, we got some colors going on in this pot. This is what it's all about, guys. Those colors are flavor. Now, I'm going to tell you, I have a lot of seasoning. You don't have to put this much seasoning. It's up to you. One thing about jambalaya, you can do this anyway. Hey, Michael, what's happening? All the way from St. Aug. How's that weather over there, brother? I know y'all sending it our way. Kick that fire up a little bit. Now, when I cook a jambalaya, I like to use a black pot, but you don't have to. If you have a good stainless steel pot with a thick bottom, you can use that. And I almost use it tonight. You can actually see in it better. So you can use that. But the cast iron pot, the black iron pot is always, to me, is going to give you a better jambalaya, especially when you want to make the gravy. It's going to do a better job. But there's nothing wrong. I have ball wrap pots in my aluminum pots. I mean, I'm sorry, my stainless steel pots, real thick bottom. They're expensive, but they're really, really good. I've had these pots for over 20 years. They're bulletproof. You can't hurt them. And I left one night and left the fire on, forgot about it. And they still survive. That don't look like what Marshall Cooks cook at the camp. Well, I'm gonna have to teach him a little bit, my brother. Michael said in Florida, it's hot, 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 like your jambalaya. All right, brother. I kind of figured that, but we ain't got nothing cool out here. The only thing cool in Louisiana are the people, because the damn temperature is hot. All right. I'm gonna bring that garlic in. Now, how much garlic? If you want any, that's up to you. I love a little garlic in my, especially with seafood. I love to have me some garlic. This is all gonna add onto a good gravy. All this starting to really brown right now. Oh yeah, we're starting to get a little color in our gravy. Norris, what's happening, brother? How's everything in Texas, man? Okay. And just keep this moving around. Especially in a black iron pot, I like to keep it moving. Look, I'm going fast because it's just me, but you don't have to. A lot of times you're cooking, especially in the big pots where we're cooking 50, 60 pounds, 40 pounds. You just work it. You take your time. I was a friend of mine, Buggy Lamont, who taught me how to cook jambalaya. Man, he said, here, stir in the pot. I think I had stuff flying out the pot. He grabbed me and said, whoa, stove. Don't beat the pot up. Take your time. It's going to be all right, brother. Just take your time. And that's what it's all about. I know it's awesome, brother. Okay. Man. Now, what I want to do is I want to bring in a little bit of shrimp. And y'all know what this is about. This is my sacrifice stuff. I like to go ahead and put a little sacrifice stuff in, and I'm going to get some of that good crawfish fat in here. And I want this to start breaking down. This is going to help build the flavor in this pot. This is going to start help building your flavor. I find that you put these in things early, just let them cook. Hopefully they just disintegrate in there, okay? You'll be all right. Now, with rice, the first recorded effort of rice cultivation was actually by a guy by the name of Dr. Henry Woodward in Charleston in 1685. So rice goes back to 1685 in the United States. And all along the East Coast, especially like Charleston area and all, rice grew. It got really big. And then Dr. Woodward, he got the seed from a guy. The guy's name was Captain John Thurber. He sailed into Charleston from Madagascar and then brought the rice seed so that he could go ahead and start. Hey, Dorothy, oh, we cooking, baby. We missed it as we. Oh, yeah, we're starting to get that little color in here now. And I'm going to go down in that pot in a second. So then the production of rice, it spread really rapidly by 1695. And rice was even used to pay rent to British proprietors. So this is how important rice was in the beginning. It came to the United States, so it was a form of payment to pay your debt. And that was called bartering. Well, I know we're gonna see you next week, darling. We were depressed. We weren't even cutting up. Dorothy, so we bowl on Mondays, and Dorothy's lose it there, and we do a lot. We got a group that we do a lot of cutting up. So now, so in 1691, got a guy by the name of Peter Gerard. He was granted a patent that he made a pendulum engine to remove the rice hulls. This, by 1700, they were producing 400,000 pounds of rice annually. So with his invention, they just blew up in the rice production, okay? You always wonder, you always hear him harvest rice or many things about barrels. What is a barrel? How much does it weigh? In 1714, they came up with a standard measurement. Barrel is 162 pounds. And I think they still use that today. Anytime you hear they had so many barrels, that's what you're looking for. Hey, Roy. Thank you, brother. Knocking it out, brother. You better believe it. All right. Boy, this is starting to really get good down here. We're getting a good color in our gravy. So what we're doing now, this is what we call, like, you can call this étouffée if you want. You can call this stewing. We actually keep cooking. We keep cooking that liquid out. And every time you cook it liquid out, then you're going to let that whatever's in here, just let it kind of cook to the bottom of the pot. Just let it kind of scorch a little bit. Not much. You don't want it to stick. And then when you add that water in, you bring all that up from the bottom of the pot, and it keeps adding to the flavor. This was the old school of cooking. This is the way they cook. You take back in the old days when they're cooking a round steak. Toughest meat you're going to get off a cow, a round steak. And they would kick that and just cooking and cooking and cooking and cooking. And they got tender. But it gave great flavor. Another steak that was really good, my mama cooked it a lot, was 7 steaks or neck chops. We had the bone in. And it had the little 7 bone in it. You had to cook those a long time. But they made a great gravy. So that gravy you put over rice with your 7 steaks. It was an awesome meal. And it was a cheap meal. Okay, let's go down to that pot. We're going to take a look at this gravy building. You see down here? You can see the gravy that's building down here. We're getting a brown color. This is what we're looking for. This brown color is nothing but flavor. And that's what we want. Now we're going to bring these bell peppers in. And I use different colors. You don't have to. If you just want to use green, that's fine. And I've got some bell peppers in here. I got from my buddy Bonnie Dufresne this morning. And they're called Mahoney. And they're like long peppers like this. And they're real tender. It's got a real sweet taste to it. And it's got a thin wall, so they cook real good. And we're going to use those one day on the show. I'm going to stuff them. You can take those, and they're about this long. And what you do is you cut them in half and you stuff them with something you've been cooking in this pot. Put a little cheese on them and bake them in the oven. Woo-hoo. Be like little bite-sized stuff. Let's see. Michael said I need a swig because I'm working hard on here. Working hard on that gravy, brother. Harvey, what's happening, brother? Man, we got it. This pot, we got it going on in this pot. We got a lot of flavor in this pot. Now, you see this catfish? Remember, I'm not here to put this catfish in to actually get chunks of catfish. I want it to, this is one thing that I want to break in. I want it to break up in this pot. Because it's going to shred up and it's going to taste like a crab meat. And it's got, so if you call it imitation crab meat, call it what you want. But I did this one time when I was cooking at George Becknell's place, Beck's on the Lake. And we had done a live show. And I made a seafood sauce piquant. And I remember that lady telling me, there was a young lady. She said, you had a lot of crab meat in there. Man, that was some good. I didn't have a piece of crab meat. I had a lot of broken fish in here. So it does give a good flavor when you do that. Now we're going to make a little noise. I got to bring a heavier spoon in. Okay. Yeah, we really get some good flavor in here now. Hey, Mildred. Good seeing you. So That sauce before was fire. That was a good night. That was the night I almost burnt the roof because it was St. Patrick's Day and I had these green glasses on. I'm gonna tell you right now, do not put green sunglasses on, a green tint, and try to cook a roux. You don't see it turning dark. And Cat Rodri puts a comment going, I think you're burning that roux. When I raised the glasses up, I went, oh, damn. I said it to myself, but I thought I lost it. And I know, Darren, I remember you were there. All right, now putting the rest of these dry shrimp in. Dry shrimp are a little tough. You want to put them in early, let them cook in here. A lot of people don't like them because, you know, a lot of people say they look like worms, but they do give a good seafood flavor in here. And that's what we're looking for. I like dry shrimp in my seafood gumbo. It gives a really good flavor, and I like the shrimp powder in my seafood gumbo. So when did rice come to Louisiana? Around the mid-1800s. Now, you had rice here probably before, but not in big production. What really helped was the steam-powered pumps. Once they had the steam-powered pumps, then they could bring water from the river. Now, you remember, the levee wasn't the levee we have now. Maybe half the height, maybe. And but they would bring it from the river and then flood their fields. You still had sugarcane here. You had sugarcane in your highland, but you'd have grown the rice in your lowland. And this was done as late as the 60s over here in St. James and St. Charles Parish even. You were still growing rice in the lowland. But the best way to get water to it, you had to pump water in, and the best water to use at that time was from the Mississippi River. Now, with the invention of the pumps, all the lowland in New Orleans that would grow rice, I want you to think about New Orleans. You go to New Orleans now and it's a city. But think about this. After the French Quarter, you had plantations that went across the river. Think about the highland along the river, the sliver on the river. That was all plantations. Those plantations grew sugarcane, rice, and many other products. Some of you had some that were truck farmers there too. So those big plantations eventually would have been split up, sold, and then developed, especially after we became part of the United States. Remember, Canal Street was this big old neutral ground. One side of Canal Street was American and one side was French. They didn't like each other. But that's also when the port of New Orleans really, really grew. So that rice was being cultivated along the river, along the Mississippi River in all your lowland. And now we're all out in West Louisiana. Eventually, it just faded out from this area. Number one, it would be hard to pump the water from the river because you have to get so many permits and all now. And this levee is a lot higher than it was. And the river has changed and the water has changed. So it would be a lot different now. The rice production was good until the Civil War. After the Civil War, a lot of places were broke, and the East Coast rice production declined rapidly for various reasons. And during this period, you wound up with a lot of small areas along the Mississippi River with rice farms. This time, New Orleans had expanded, so you were getting out of the agriculture in New Orleans and getting more into people living there. And also, the port of New Orleans was a major port in the United States. But the Mississippi River was a problem. The problem is that you had these levees that weren't very high and they weren't built very good. So you had trouble with the levees giving, crevasse, or you had leakage, or you just had periodic floods where the water actually came over the levee. And these farmers caught hell with that. And that happened all the way until the Great Flood of 1927. Then the federal government stepped in and built our levees. What's up, Bones? All right. Now, one thing about here, the Cajuns knew how to grow rice. Like I said, Cajuns can adapt to anything. But the Germans were the ones that created rice cultivation methods. So they invented the mechanized tools. They had the seeders, the binders, and the threshers. All these were German innovation. So if you take Germans and Cajun and put together, you have the work know-how, you have the hardworking people who are very smart as far as the crop, and the people, the engineers were the Germans. Good combination of people. That's why this area is so productive with and so much industry. They love this culture that we have out here. All right. Man, we got a lot of stuff going on in here. We're making a good little gravy. Now keep adding that water, keep adding that stock. Now, if you don't have stock, it's okay, but it's not going to taste as good as this one. Now, something we're going to use crawfish. So now, whenever you use crawfish, number one, use Louisiana. Some people can't get it, then you have no way to get Louisiana crawfish. You have no choice but to get the imported crawfish. So if you have to, I understand. But when you dump the crawfish out that bag, put some water in that bag and rinse it. Because watch, you see that juice coming out? That's the fat. I wasn't throwing that away. So now it's time to bring that crawfish in. And we're going to bring it down in that pot for a little bit. And you can see the crawfish tails in there. Man, this is some. When all this is going to cook together, I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to be able to, you can actually take this and serve it over rice, make a sandwich with it. You better believe before I put that water in to make a jambalaya, I'm going to add some of this over a po' boy. There's no doubt about it. This is good stuff right here. So if you didn't want to add rice to it, you wanted to use this as a dish just to eat on all week, absolutely. Instead of mixing the rice in, just serve it over rice. A good topping on a baked potato, over pasta, over quinoa, over spaghetti squash. Anything that you like, you could actually serve this. So you have a lot of options. But once you put the rice in and make jambalaya, you have jambalaya. And both of them are good options. There's no bad answer to that. There's no bad option. Now I see more people kicking in from YouTube. I'm at my ask everybody, go to Spanish Cajun Foods YouTube channel. Thumbs up on there, subscribe to it. You will get a better picture, and it'll stay out there longer. When I upload this video and it's downloaded to y'all, well, it's kind of, the picture won't be as good on Facebook. Picture says an omelet. Oh, hell yeah, an omelet. I forgot about that. This would make a fantastic omelet. Okay, now I'm going to start seasoning this. So I want the crawfish to cook a little bit before I actually bring the shrimp in. Okay, you can see I didn't put a lot of salt. And also, now, since we're doing seafood, if you wanted to add a little tomato to this, that would be fine. This is one time where I could use a little tomato if I wanted. If you wanted to add a little can of rotel, all that goes well with the seafood jambalaya. So that's a personal choice. I won't put any tonight, but if you want to put some, that's really a personal choice. And it would make a very good jambalaya. Okay, let's go down in this pot. Man, you can see that gravy that we built down here. It's a fantastic gravy, and this is just from taking our time. Okay. Now we're gonna bring the shrimp in. As you can see, I have a lot of meat in this jambalaya. One thing about it, there ain't gonna be no wish dish. My partner's gonna eat this. They ain't gonna be wishing I put something in it. So I had about 2 pounds of crawfish and 2 pounds of shrimp. Because when I cook a jambalaya, especially a seafood, I like to put a lot of seafood in it. This is a high protein dish. This is going to be a very healthy dish. Even the rice. Rice gets beaten up a lot like potatoes, but it's the overeating of rice that kills us. But the rice is not a bad thing. It's just Like everything in moderation, like my old papa used to say. Our problem is we take a big old plate of rice like this and cover it. Moderation, little side dish. Man, seafood gumbo with with that soft shell crab would be fantastic. I mean, seafood jambalaya. So crawfish. Crawfish have a long history in Louisiana, and they go back to the Native Americans way before we got here, way before anybody got to Louisiana. The Native Americans, they were already surviving on crawfish. They would catch it, take a cane, take a reed, put a piece of deer meat on it, and they would fish for the crawfish. So imagine fishing for crawfish. The Cajuns started in the mid 1700s. They started actually using the crawfish because one thing about the Cajuns, they were able to adapt to environment wherever they were living. So they were learning to eat whatever was there. That was the survival part of Cajuns. And this is one of the things that makes our foods so unique. Michael, where's your French bread? Oh, brother. You know it's coming. I'm glad you reminded me because I had it hiding over there. Oh, man. I'm going to let these shrimp cook in here, and we're bringing this French bread in. Because number one, we have to start tasting for seasoning, okay? Because this is going to take a little more seasoning than I normally put. Normally, when I come in with my andouille sausage and all, I have a lot of seasoning because I know my meat. I know how much seasoning they put in here. The shrimp and the crawfish were not seasoned before. You can season them before if you want, but if you put salt to them, it's going to draw a lot of moisture out of them. I'd rather put them in the state that they are. And one of the things that the Omas tribe, what they did, that crawfish was their war symbol. And I've said this many times on this show, which really I'm fascinated by this. They would paint that red crawfish in there, almost being red, and they would paint that red crawfish when they would go to battle. Fearless. The crawfish were fearless. So this is why they would use that. And anybody familiar with the crawfish? Oh, hell yeah, they're fearless. They ain't scared of nothing. And crawfish boils. You know, we take that for granted, but that actually became popular late 50s and 60s. I remember in the 60s, we had crawfish boils, nothing like we have today. And the best part about it, if we had a crawfish boil, I never remember my dad had gone buy crawfish. We would catch the crawfish so we can have a crawfish boil. We take our set nets, go to find somewhere in the swamps or somewhere in the spillway, and go out and catch us, like he would say, a mess of crawfish. Now, if we caught 30 pounds, 40 pounds, that was enough for us. And whatever was left over, Mama would peel it, and she'd make a stew with it. And then sometimes we'd go catch crawfish scald, and we all got together and peel so that she can make a crawfish bisque. Crawfish bisque is a lot of work, but man, is it good. So we're going to take another peek in this pot. And now the shrimp is coming together, and you can see that brown gravy cooking in there. This is what's going to make that French bread really, really good. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a little taste of this brown gravy. What I'm tasting for is I'm tasting for seasoning, okay? Now, I'm not finished seasoning this yet, but man, this is good. And you're right, it's time for the French bread. As soon as these shrimp cook in here, we're going to go ahead and add our water so we can bring our rice in. So how old are crawfish? How long have we had crawfish? Well, you know those little hills, crawfish, we call them crawfish holes that we find, our crawfish hills. They date back to 115 million years ago. So there's fossilized hills of that, those crawfish hills that we find. They're fossilized. So this has been around longer than the roach. Sharon, yes indeed. St. Rose Avenue when they were crossing the road. Man, Sharon, you remember people from the city would come in the spring. St. Rose Avenue would be full of people from out of town catching crawfish. They would come from the city. And at that time, St. Rose Avenue was a dump. People would just come from the city and throw their trash. So it was old cars, garbage, everything. And they were catching crawfish in there and bringing it back home. Hell, I wouldn't eat it off the station road, but I eat the crawfish crossing the road. Now, the commercialization of crawfish began in 1880. Now, watch this. The first recorded crawfish sales was 23,400 pounds for the year, brought in $2,140. By 1908, 88,000 pounds of crawfish were caught, but they only had a value of $3,600. So actually, you caught 2.5 times the amount of crawfish. You got less than half of the money. Kind of crazy. What you say, Mama Rose? And Darren said the same thing on Willowdale Road. Yep. So crawfishing was a big deal in our days. Going out and get you some set nets, go and catch a mess of crawfish. That was fun. You got one of your partners from the neighborhood, 2 or 3 of y'all, and man, what went on in the woods when we got there, it could be anything. Because we did some crazy stuff. And Sharon said they feel it better to pick up. Man, let's get a taste of this. Yeah. Let me tell y'all something. Damn, this is good. Oh, Lord. Man, before I go off, before I put my rice, talk about an omelet in the morning. Omelet for a couple mornings. Put me some on the side. Just one of the things you can do with it. You see? So I've got multiple things going on here. All right. Now, 8 cups of water or 8 cups of stock. I'm bringing that in. Now we're going to have to retest this seasoning because once I add this water in, what I was tasting before is not my seasoning. In fact, it was a little salty and a little pepper. Now I have to taste when this water comes back to boil to see what we've got. What's up, Rabbit? I'm having too much fun. Hell yeah, man. Rabbit, you know me, brother. And look, I got my brewski, man. I had my brewski. No, y'all. Damn, this is good. I gotta try this. Oh, hell yeah. Man, damn this jambalaya. I'm gonna enjoy this. Oh, God. This don't make you shake, rattle, and roll. It ain't nothing that gonna do it. Damn. Yeah. This is going to be good for breakfast tomorrow morning. It's going to be for lunch tomorrow, and it's going to be for supper tomorrow night. I'm going to have all these meals with this because this damn thing is good. And think about this. This one dish right here, the amount of protein you have in this dish, unbelievable. I think 3 ounces of shrimp have something like 20 grams of protein or maybe more. Crawfish, even better. So high protein dish. This is a high protein dish. Some good carbs in it. You're going to have, and it's not a high fat dish. You're going to have a lot of carbs in the rice, so you limit the amount you put in there. That's why I put a lot of meat in there, so you can get those carbs with that, you can get that protein with those carbs. What's up, Crystal? So there are actually states that prohibit the sale or possession of crawfish. To name a few of them: Illinois, Wisconsin, Minnesota, and Michigan. And you prohibit the sale of live red swamp crawfish. You can't sell them. You can't be in possession of them. They say this is to prevent the spread of aquatic nuisance species. You think people don't see things different than, because we don't see anything nuisance about them. What's up, Donald? What's happening, my brother? Another Fauché on. And the red crawfish are highly invasive and harmful to the environment if released. Well, if you send us up there, you won't have to worry about them red crawfish invading anything, because we'll take care of them for you. That you don't have to worry about. Okay, we're starting to get a little boil. So this is the perfect size pot right here to make you a little family size jambalaya. Actually, more than family size. I said that 4 cups of jambalaya is going to go a long ways. All right. Take a look in that pot now. And there you go. See the good color we have in there? We got a good color gravy. Because y'all know, I'm not going to put that coloring stuff that they sell on the market. I don't even want to mention the name. I just don't want to use that. I'd rather just layer these flavors and make my own color. So as of 2019, you had more than 1,600 farmers produce crawfish over 110,000 acres of ponds. That's a lot. That's a big industry. And you have more than 800 fishermen fishing this. So your yields range anywhere from 120 to 150 million pounds. Today it's probably bigger than that. Economic impact in 2019, $300 million annually. And then you have more than 7,000 people that directly and indirectly dependent on the crawfish industry. So that's huge. That's a big industry. But of course, everybody knows in South Louisiana especially, seafood is a huge industry for us. Now, this is where we have to taste. This is going to make you break your jambalaya right here. Tasting this water. You want it a little bit salty. You want it a little bit piquant. You want it, when you swallow this, you want it to taste. You want to taste that piquant back in your throat, that little pepper. You want it to pick, piquant, pick. And you want that salt to be a little high, but not overdoing it. Okay? We're definitely lacking. We need some more salt. Everybody knows I use the pink Himalayan salt. If that's what if you rather use white salt, there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, pepper. Really watching the pepper. Tell you what, I'm just gonna add a little bit more black pepper to it, because I'm starting to taste a little piquant now. And a lot of people think that Cajun, is especially when you get away from this area, it's hot. Well, I got news for them, and I tell this all my bus tours, all the people that come from all over the United States, because really they love our culture. And I say, Cajun is not hot. A lot of them raise their hand. Oh, yeah, that's what they know. That's what they heard. We don't want it burning going in. We sure in the hell don't want it burning going out the next day. That's just one man's opinion. Woo-hoo. Oh, yeah, we're getting there. Oh, Rocky from Niagara Falls. Rocky's calling in from Niagara Falls. Rocky's from Bastrop, Louisiana, but he's up there to see a waterfall. And hopefully make a baby. I'm going to beep our in. All right. Add a little bit more salt. So probably what we've added is 1 good spoon right here. And that's a good soup spoon. I'm going to add in a little bit more red pepper, not a lot, because we're starting to get the little piquant in it. Now, remember, you have to taste it, because that rice is going to suck up a lot of flavor when you put it in. This rice is really going to suck it in. What's up, Crook? Boy, your buddy been bashing you on this show, Crook. But you know I've been taking up for you. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. A little bit more salt. We ready. So I'm going to add a little bit more salt to it. Not much. And this is a matter of personal choice. I'm going to add a little bit of hot sauce to it. Okay. Now, let's bring in the rice. Now, what we want to do, when you put this rice in, make sure you keep stirring the pot. Because what happened is that rice will ball up. And so if you put it in and just forget about it and you go to stir it, it locks. It locks up. So you want to keep it moving. You don't have to beat it to death. Just keep it moving a little bit. And once it gets back to a boil, we're going to put a cover on it and leave it on the simmer. my little baby pot here. I'm not gonna lie to y'all, it's the smallest pot I've ever cooked in. But hey, it works. And I've got one of these magnetic watch bands that keeps sticking to this cover. Hear it? Okay. Now, cooking a seafood gumbo, a seafood jambalaya. I keep on saying gumbo because I'm in the mood for some seafood gumbo. But that seafood jambalaya is actually going to be, to me, one of the best jambalayas you're going to eat. All right, we're going to bring this fire 15 minutes. We'll put this on simmer for 15 minutes. Now, if anybody wants to raise the cover in this pot, that's what this spoon's for. You knock the hell out of them. Because nobody touches that pot to the 15 minutes up. So what it's going to do is going to boil a little bit, and the rice is going to suck up that water, and you're going to get you that little gratin at the bottom when you finish. But it's going to be, that's why you stir it at 15 minutes. You stir it up. Hopefully it's really moist, and that's what you want. Turn the fire off and let it set for another 15 minutes. I'm not going to do that tonight. We're going to eat in 15 minutes. And so we're going to be here a little while. And so let's talk about shrimp a little bit. Shrimp consumption goes back as far as the 4th century. It's actually documented in cookbooks from the Greeks and the Romans. So back then, the Romans and the Greeks were very smart people. As far as food culture, they documented a lot of stuff. They were very, very good at documenting. And they would document a lot of stuff that they did. We learned. We still use some of the processes that they use all these years later. And but in China, it was a significant food source way back as early as the 7th century. So shrimp has always been so important to nutrition in the world. It's even documented that Marco Polo, he made notes that the importance of shrimp in his travels in the 13th century. And this is a little side note. Anybody know how fast a shrimp can swim? 30 body lengths a second. Now, I know a shrimp is only this big, but 30 body lengths, that little sucker's moving. And if you ever watch them in the water, you can see it. They take off. But I had no idea they were that fast. And one of the things that shrimp, before, it was all about hand peeling. You had a lot of ladies who would come into these shrimp houses, and they would all get together, and they would hand peel these shrimp. They would hand peel, and they would devein them. So it kept the shrimp were expensive this way because it's so labor intensive. It wasn't until we invented the mechanized peeling machine. That was invented in the 40s, and there was a guy that had a packing house, and he told his son, do something useful for yourself, invent a machine that can automatically peel those shrimp. And he stepped on a shrimp one day with his rubber boots, and the shrimp popped out the tail. And from there, they got together, engineered it, and come on up. If you ever go to a shrimp house, there's little fingers that run, and the shrimp run through the little fingers. And not only does it peel the shrimp, now they're going to soak it in a solution first, to help that peeling get off the skin, and then they'll go ahead and remove the skin off that shrimp, and then also supposedly devein it. Most of them are deveined. Hey, Jody, how's it going, baby? So, but the indigenous people were actually using fishing weirs and traps to catch fish as far back as the 17th century in Louisiana bayous. So they were already catching shrimp. And I remember reading stories where people would go in the lake punching train in the shallow part of the water or in the bayous, and they would have somebody in the boat, 2 people on a seine, and they would pull a seine. Just walk on the side of the boat and pull it, and then catch so much and then dump it in the boat and just keep doing that. So this is before you had the little putt-putt motor so you could trawl. So this is how we started. 18th, 19th centuries, beach seines were introduced. So beach, B-E-A-C-H, introduced from France. So this was something that they used all around the world too. And then Chinese immigrants brought their netting tradition to California coast. They had a lot of Chinese came into California. A lot of dry shrimp processing was done out there. And they expanded the shrimp and the fishing trade out there. Just like when the Vietnamese came here, they expanded out fishing and shrimping industry in South Louisiana. And so a lot of these dry shrimp, like I said, the Chinese, this was very important in China. They would pack them, ship them back to China. It's a very important part of their culture. Catfish, not a whole lot of stuff on catfish, except the fossil history goes back to 70 million years ago. Catfish are actually found on every continent except Antarctica. So catfish is just a common fish. Some people call it a trash fish because they're bottom feeders and all this. You have the pond-raised catfish. Some people say they're not no good because depending on what they feed them, I'm going to tell you, you want to make sure that they grain-fed and you want to know the farms that they came from. I like mine from Mississippi and Alabama. They're a real good source. Nothing better than Lake Pontchartrain or catfish. If you can get them from there, wild caught, that's your best catfish. Some people catch them in the river. Mississippi River is loaded with catfish, but you better know how to clean them. A lot of people say they're not any good if you know how to clean them. My brother does it all the time. They're excellent. They're fantastic. And some people still run hoop nets in the Mississippi River. Hey, Dave, thanks, brother. There's that awesome recipe. So anybody have any questions, comments, just put them out there. But this dish right here, now before we put the rice, we could have turned that dish to anything we wanted. We could have turned that into a gumbo. All we had to do is add some okra in it. We could have had some smothered okra dumped in here. And hey, Brian, and put some smothered okra, add some good stock in it, add a little roux to it, made a little roux. We could have had, we had the base, we had everything we needed for a good seafood gumbo. And a seafood gumbo, you don't need a lot of roux because remember, your okra is your thickener. This is why I really prefer seafood gumbos over regular gumbo because it doesn't have as much roux and you can just, it has so much flavor in it. Now look, don't get me wrong, I like them both. Especially with my andouille and my sausage in it. Oh, Brian, let's see. Lake de Salmon catfish are pretty good. No, Brian, Lake de Salmon catfish are damn good. And there's a lot of good seafood come out of Lake de Salmon, catfish, crabs. And even one time they used to have shrimp out there, and I know they still do. They just nobody control it anymore because it's such a shallow lake. But there's some good shrimp out there too. And I know people had ways to catch them back in the day. But next week, I'm gonna have a guest. Her name is Tina Walsh, and I'm gonna show you where you can find her. If I can get my little mouse working here. Let me see if I can find her notes. And Tina Walsh has a website, and it's called mytraveltaste.com. She's a person that goes around the country. She travels all over the world, and she writes about different experiences. So people that want to take a vacation, these vacation writers, these blog writers, they do a lot of research for you. So if you want to know something, and you can go in their blogs or you go in their website and interact with them. And she'll be with us next week. And of course, she's being sent here by the River Parish Tourism Commission, and she's actually exploring our river parishes so that we go out and write about our river parishes. So people, when they come here as tourists, they actually first thing they come into New Orleans. Most people, when they go to New Orleans, they want to get out of New Orleans. They want to see how the real people live. They want to get away from the commercialization, and so they enjoy their trips out here, but they need to see what to do. These are the people that actually help us. They help us a lot. So next week, tune in, ask your questions about things that, different travels that she does. Go look at her website, and then hopefully I don't know what we're going to cook yet, but I'm going to cook something that she's going to like. I can't wait till Marshall cooks this at the camp. Y'all might have to give him some lessons. Boy, Marshall got this, and he's only one call away from the professional. That would be me, Mark. That would be me. So yeah, tune in next week with Tina, and definitely we're gonna actually talk about travels and what she sees and what she does and what people look for. and about the travel industry today, because things are changing with the economy, with the environment, with the world. Everything's changing, so we can ask her questions about that. Deborah Jacob, where do you broadcast from? Deborah, I'm on. In fact, I'm glad you asked that because one of the stations I go off of is Spuddy's Cajun Foods YouTube channel. Go out there and put a thumbs up on that channel. Give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to it. You're going to get a better picture. The picture's a lot better. And it's just easy. It's easy. Facebook over time has been challenging. Still good. It's still a good platform. So either one you choose is going to be good. But if you don't mind, go out there and like my channel. Okay. Didi. Marshall Crooks coach baseball? Yes, he did. And look, something I realized last week, I don't see all the comments sometimes. But I tell you this, if you pick me up in the feed, just the regular feed, I will not see what you're putting out there. So go to one of the channels. I think YouTube gives me better comments than all the others, but go to the channels and watch the show from the channels. If you make comments, I have a better chance of seeing them. But if you just go to Facebook and pick it up in the feed, I will not see the comment. I won't even know that you were on. And it's just the quirks of it. It's the way it is. So a lot of people tell me, man, I was out there. I buzzed you 3 times. I said hello 5 times. I didn't see you. Believe me, I'm sitting there watching these comments in front of me. Every comment that comes through, I'm acknowledging it. So I'm not ignoring anybody. Alan said he's watching the YouTube now. It's great. Pictures better, Alan? And I've gotten this feedback from a lot of people. Awesome. And the more we get people out there to subscribe to YouTube, the better chances that I can take some of these shows and maybe make a few dollars on them.
Deborah wasn't aware we actually located.
Deborah, where we actually located? So we're actually located in Vacherie, Louisiana. 2644 Highway 20. We're in Vacherie. The rest of the summer, I'll probably be shutting down August and September because it's just that time of the year. October, we'll be back wide open, selling our smoked meats. And also, even though we're going to be closed those 2 months, we are going to still do our cooking school. So, Deborah, we have our cooking school. We get a group of people together. We like to get at least 3 people hands-on. The other day I did 14 people hands-on. So we can have groups, corporate groups work fantastic. This was just a great group of people that came through in our corporate groups, and we just had a good time. And it's good camaraderie, and it brings people together. It actually brings people together, and they can take that corporate hat off, they can take that work hat off, and be themselves. Because what goes on, this is the camp. What goes on in the camp stays at the camp. Brian says it looks good on YouTube. Thank you, brother. Appreciate that. And look, the more people I can get out on YouTube, the easier it's gonna be on me too, because the less platforms I can go, I have to go on to broadcast is gonna be better. So one of the things about seafood jambalaya, what kind of seafood you can put in, what kind is native to the area that you live in. Because not everybody can get the crawfish, not everybody gets the shrimp that we get, or whatever we're putting in. I tell you right now, try not to use imported stuff, especially imported shrimp. Because most of your imported shrimp are pond raised. And I really don't like the pond raised. I will not buy the shrimp. I'll do without them. So use the fresh seafood that you get from your area. That is the best jambalaya you're gonna make. Especially if you can go to the market and get it where it's fresh. That's gonna be your best seafood to make you a high quality jambalaya. I get some smoked meat soon. Store-bought doesn't compare. That's for damn sure, Darren. So Darren's a good customer of mine. Come from Hornville, come from St. Charles Parish, come from the parish. And I'm a man of multi-parishes, St. James and St. Charles. But Darren will tell you, you find a place that's making their own, read the ingredients. We put 2 ingredients in all, salt and pepper. We have to put a little bit standard cure, which is a nitrite. We have to do that for the smoking and vacuum packing process. That's mandatory. We don't want anybody getting botulism. But that's it. I have a very simple formula. People tell me, man, tell me your recipe. Salt and pepper. They tell me I'm lying. They don't believe me. They say, look, if you don't want to tell me, just don't want to tell me. Don't lie to me. I said, man, I'm telling you the truth. It's all it is salt and pepper, nothing else, okay? Brian says he can't get Gulf shrimp in Omaha. Brian, sometimes what they'll do, they'll IQF the shrimp, and there'll be butterfly shrimp or there'll be peel shrimp, butterfly. As long as they caught in the Gulf or in the waters of the United States, you're gonna have a good shrimp. We have a lot of shrimp that goes on along the east. They go on along the East Coast too. Okay, so they're all good shrimp. We don't know. All we know is they're caught in the waters of the USA. So within that 3-mile limit, once they get offshore, that's all we know. This time of the year, if you go to the shrimp houses, you'll get some shrimp that were caught locally and peeled. So you have a better chance of that if you can get to the shrimp houses. But Brown, if you go in there, you'll probably find some. They're going to be IQF frozen, instant quick freeze. Those will work really well. They're taking them, they're peeling them, and they flash freezing them right away. And I do a lot of stuff like that, and it works really well. It's the smoking process that makes the difference. So Darren, you're right. So the flavor of the meat is not the salt, not the pepper. It does have a lot to do with it. But you see the smoking process, and this is where the commercial meats can't come in and compete against me. Commercial meats can't beat Buddy's meat. I can tell you right now. The reason is they can't do the smoking I do. I smoke with pecan. This is right here. This is hickory, pecan, all these woods that they have. People are naturally smoking. If you know what you're doing, you get that sweetness of the smoke. You can overdo it. You can ruin it. It is an art. Missy, long time. It has been a long time, baby. What you cooking? Seafood jambalaya. Watch this. Let's take a peek in that pot. Bring that sky view in. Okay. Now watch. You see I'm gonna bring that. You see there's a lot of moisture left? Now I'm bringing that bottom up. I'm just turning the fire off. Okay. There's a lot of flavor in this pot. And this is what I'm talking about. If you're using parboiled rice, you're not going to get this flavor. I don't care. Because remember, the rice is halfway cooked already. So my rice was raw. It sucked up every bit of flavor I had in this pot. That makes a difference. And I'm bringing the bottom up so it doesn't scorch. And I can tell you right now, I don't have a lot of gâteau in the bottom of this pot. So that's going to be a good thing. Now, we're going to fix a plate of the jambalaya. And then we're going to let this set. We're going to get a taste before we sign off here. Come on, camera. Come on back. I'm hungry. All right. Man, we got a lot of seafood. We got the crawfish. In fact, I'm going to go down one more time so you can see in this plate. You see the shrimp, the crawfish, and the catfish is all broken up in here. You don't really see it, but it's broken up in here. You can see a little stress of it. So we've got a little bit of everything in this plate. I got my little smoked meat in here. Oh, Lord, let's take a taste now. Oh. I got to cover this pot back before I finish tasting because I definitely want this pot. I want to seal that rice so that rice can finish cooking. You thought this thing is not delicious? It's damn right awesome. Oh. Look, the rice. The rice is grain for grain. Got a little bit piquant to it. The salt is perfect. So this is, when I tasted that water, thank you, Brian. Yeah, keep spreading that word. Share my YouTube channel. Thank you, Brian. Man, I appreciate that, brother. Oh. Yeah. Oh, hell yeah. This is good. I actually like this better than the regular jambalaya. You know why? Because I eat so much jambalaya. Everywhere you go, people are serving jambalaya. And you just get enough of it. This is a treat. This is something different. Oh, hell yeah. It might be the best seafood jambalaya I've ever cooked. So a lot of times I've cooked them when I was rushing believe me, it doesn't come out like this. If you don't take your time, you're not going to have this flavor. So y'all, I'll be looking for y'all next week with Miss Tina Walsh. Hopefully nothing happens and she's here. And we're going to cook something. I don't know what it is, but I want to cook something special for her. If you have any ideas, just shoot them across to me. I want something that's very Louisiana for her, that she can really appreciate how we cooking, okay? So thank y'all. Great being with y'all tonight. Love y'all. God bless y'all and see y'all next week.